Welcome back to another episode of Utility Room Legends, the show where we explore everything that moves and controls water, as well as meet the legendary individuals who keep it all flowing. If you've been enjoying the podcast, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, where new episodes release every other Thursday. You can also head over to utilityroomlegends.com for show updates, links, and to get in touch if you would like to be a guest. Today's guest brings a truly global perspective to the conversation, and not just in theory, but from a real on-the-ground experience across South Africa, West Africa, as well as North and South America. Kevin Froneman is a subject matter expert with Emerson and someone who has spent nearly 2 decades helping water, wastewater, oil, gas, and power utilities apply automation to some of the most critical and vulnerable systems in the world. He began his career in South Africa and eventually took on senior roles with Rotork, managing regional operations across Africa before moving into leadership roles in the U.S. municipal oil and gas power sectors, and later expanding his work into broader international business development. Now at Emerson, Kevin supports utilities across the Americas as a trusted advisor on control valve actuation, site services, and process optimization. But beyond the titles and technical know-how, what really comes through in this conversation with Kevin is his passion for empowering people, particularly technicians, operators, and maintenance teams, through better training, clear documentation, and a strong culture of ownership. In this episode, Kevin shares insights on the dangers of assuming a one-size-fits-all when it comes to automation and infrastructure. Also, why people, not products, are the key to performance. Kevin also reflects on his mission to be a mentor and coach, paying forward the lessons he's learned while helping others thrive in industries that are often underserved and undertrained. Quick note, the views and opinions shared by Kevin in this episode are his own personal views and do not necessarily represent those of Emerson or any affiliated organizations. Kevin's global story, practical insight, and honest perspective are exactly why we do this podcast. He is a legend not because of a job title, but because of his impact on people and the systems that matter most. Let's get into it. Kevin.
Yes, sir.
It's good to have you on, my friend.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Yeah, excited to have you on. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay, my name's Kevin Froneman. I work for Emerson Actuation, and obviously Repmasters is you guys are one of our distributors, and we do valve actuators in the municipal industry. I worked for a competitor for 20 years before that, so I've got some knowledge about their products. And yeah, basically moved to the US in 2016 with my family. And
from where?
South Africa.
South African.
Yeah. You got a good accent. Yeah, so we've been living in Houston, about 20, 30 miles out of Houston.
Okay.
West. So that's it.
Houston, South Africa, kind of pretty much same, right?
Pretty much the same, yeah.
Actually, climate-wise, it's not, they're both humid, right?
Climate-wise, they're more or less the same, but where I come from, central Johannesburg, they don't get the humidity, but the temperatures are the same. And then our west coast doesn't get humid because it's the same as California. Yeah. And then our east coast gets a bit humid because it's the Indian Ocean. But
and size-wise, how big is Africa? Blows me away when you talk about land mass.
Yeah.
I mean, how big is South Africa? Is what size of
South Africa? I've done it before, just for curiosity. I've taken a map of South Africa and I've superimposed it on Texas.
Right.
And the panhandle of Texas sticks out a bit, and the southern point of South Africa sticks out a bit, but more or less it fits into each other.
Yeah.
I think last time I checked, it's a population of 55 million people, I think.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow. What's the population of Texas?
I don't have no idea.
No, neither. That's not dumb.
You got me there.
So Emerson's headquartered in Houston, right?
Yeah.
Well, not headquartered.
Yeah.
Is the headquarters in Houston?
Well, Emerson's got a lot of divisions.
Right. Global.
But the automation division is based out of Houston. It's Jersey Village.
Yeah.
Which is just northeast of town.
Yep. Been there.
Yeah, you've been there, right?
That's where I first met you.
Good traffic in the morning.
Yeah, like everywhere nowadays. Although you got the frontage streets, the side streets you can get off if it's really crowded and congested, and then get back on. My parents live in Dallas, so
Depends how good your GPS is. If it warns you quick enough, you can get off and make it. But if you're late, everybody else has been warned as well.
yeah,
Then instead of having 4 lanes backed up, now you've got 6 because everybody's on the front.
everyone's on the frontage road. Yeah, then try and make U-turns. Yeah, no go. So Emerson, and I didn't realize how massive the overall portfolio is for Emerson. I mean that, you have actuation, which is just one part. Overall, you're talking about anything from. I mean, it really is just like we in the podcast is like everything that moves and controls water. I mean, that's pretty much what Emerson does. Anything that moves and controls water in pretty much every market. Right?
I mean, Emerson Actuation, especially the Bettis brand on the pneumatic stuff, is big.
Yeah, very well respected.
But actuation is actually the smallest division in Emerson.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I mean, they acquired ASCO.
You've got Rosemount, you've got Schaefer, you've got Fisher, all of those. They're all
ASCO too, correct? Right?
I think so. Yeah. There's been a couple of acquisitions since I joined in 2023. There's been a couple of acquisitions that have come along. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and how did you get into actuation?
It's actually weird because
Does it warrant like cracking a beer? We can talk about it.
No,
you went choice the Miller Lite. I mean, you went the High Life this time.
That's my go-to.
If we're going to get into actuation, right?
Right.
We got the High Life here.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
Yeah. So so let's hear. How'd you get into actuation?
So it's actually weird because when I left school, I did some college like electrotechnology, and then I decided to join the military. So I went there for 2 years. I was in the medical side.
In South Africa?
Yeah.
No.
And then when I left there, I actually started at a bank.
Okay.
I was a teller at the bank.
Wow.
And then I did that for about 6 months, and I got promoted to the mortgage division where I was doing mortgages and stuff. And then I realized that admin and office work and stuff wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So I got a job at a mining supply company. It was actually weird. It was actually a company called Manhattan Mining Equipment, but it had nothing to do with US or Manhattan.
Okay.
And they sold all sorts of stuff. So they'd go around to all the salvage yards of the mines and buy up second-hand equipment and then refurbish it and sell it. And it was balls, screens, crushers, pumps, valves, the whole deal. And then I got one of my friends, his friend's dad worked for the competitor as the general manager in South Africa. And he said, hey, they're looking for somebody. Would you be interested? And it sounded pretty good. It was an international company. So I went for the interview, and it was actually weird. They really, really needed somebody because their numbers were going down and stuff, and they wanted to build it up. So it was actually a weird interview. He said to me, what do you know about actuators? I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's like, okay, let me put it in layman's terms. Do you know what an electric motor is? I said, yes. He said, do you know what a gearbox is? I said, yes. He said, okay, that's basically an actuator. You're hired. So I started 2 or 3 days, went through the HR process, onboarding, all that. In the meantime, I was looking up at the catalogs and the brochures and reading up. And I knew just enough to be dangerous to go out and speak to some valve makers and obviously start interacting with distribution and reps and stuff. And that was 20 years ago.
So that was the other company you worked for before Emerson, right?
Yeah, that was a competitor. And I was with them for 12 years in South Africa. And then I transferred to Houston, and then I worked for them for 6 years in the US.
Okay.
And then I joined Emerson.
Gotcha. Okay.
In 2023, coming to the US in 2016.
And what brought you to Emerson?
I don't know. I wouldn't say there's anything specific.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know. It was just a change. I wanted a change.
Okay.
Because I'd always done municipal water.
Yeah.
I'd done the service side of it. I'd done sales manager side of it. I didn't manage a position, manage the territory. And then Emerson just brought on a new challenge, being the oil and gas and the big pneumatic stuff and all of that stuff. So
it's really expanding.
Yeah.
But your expertise and
it all just
knowledge.
worked out. So
you have, just so people are aware. Can you name the different types of actuation
sure,
method you got?
Anybody that's in the municipal industry or going to be listening to this podcast, you're going to know that you've got Emerson, you've got the Bettis range, which is the XTE 3000 and the MGCP.
Right. Well, and even higher than that, but just the type, and really, I mean, we've had people in the mechanical side. We'll have, any industry that moves and control water, which is pretty much anything in irrigation, ag, industrial. So you're going to find all these different varying types. But when you're talking about XTE, which is an electric actuator, you have hydraulic and
Pneumatics.
pneumatic.
Yeah, and you got the pneumatics get complicated because the control systems are a lot more in depth than what electric is.
Right.
But I mean, you've got double acting, you've got single acting, you've got fail-safe, open, fail-safe, closed. Your electrics are, a lot of people shy away from electric because they think they're really complicated.
Right.
But I'd rather tackle an electrical problem sizing for an actuator than a pneumatic. Because the pneumatics, you've got cylinder sizes and you've got brake to open, brake to close torques, you've got the springs to account, and I'm more fearful of pneumatics than electrics. But
Well, and coming from water, obviously, typically I don't like anything with air and valves.
right,
Right? It's like I was telling air and valves, just that air in anything in distribution systems doesn't really go too well. So yeah, that to me, and when I look at going down into Houston and seeing the different models they had up in the training room, like looking at the spaghetti all over those things.
Yeah. The thing one of the good things about Emerson is that even if you have a look at the electric range between the MGCP, the RTS, XTE, SCE, there's no inquiry or RFQ that could come in that we can say, okay, sorry, we're going to no quote this because we can't do this, or we're going to. We've got a full range that we can say, okay, this application we can use this, we can use that, and we can have a different number of models on one inquiry and cover the whole thing from chem feed to raw water intake to the whole thing. Yeah. Whereas certain of the competitors will say, okay, well, we can only do that section or we can only do this section, whatever. So that's one of the good things to have in your toolbox when you go see a customer. Yeah. Is that anything to do with actuation, Emerson can do it. We haven't got gaps in the product line. We've got certain gaps in sizes and certain things, but there's no major holding back gaps that can inhibit us to do a whole plant.
Well, it's always nice, and tools in the toolbox. I mean, that's all it is. You want to have. There's no one single product that fits all, right? But if you can have one source to go, and then if you solve problems.
If you look on the oil and gas side and the petrochemical, you're looking at LNG plants and stuff, and you start looking at the control systems, and you start looking at Delta V, and you start looking at the communication protocols. We can do all of that and then incorporate our stuff into it. Rosemount flow meters, Fisher control valves, Delta V, XTEs. We can do the whole lot in the plant.
So for those that are listening, that we may have people that are either young, new, or haven't even been around actuators, Delta V. If they're hearing that, what are they, in layman's terms, what are we talking about?
It's basically a control package that you'll put on top of a pneumatic actuator. Okay. And it can talk to the PLC, and you can get feedback, and it's got data. It's sort of like an advanced thing for pneumatic actuators. If you have a look at the DCM link software for XTE to interrogate it and get information and feedback and control and everything like that. And
so the PLC is
the big industrial computer that controls the plant.
Program logic. Isn't that like the wife? It kind of tells the actuator what to do? Right? No?
Could be.
Guess maybe I gave you a little too much insight into my marriage.
Well, now the PLC, if you want to look at it as basically the boss of the household. Because it's going to tell this thing to close, that thing to open. This is doing this, that is doing that.
It's giving the
warning
commands.
There. I've got a full tank there. I've got an empty tank here. I've got too much flow there. I've got too little flow here. And then everything's coming into it. And then you get PLC integrators. They'll program it according to the process to say this tank needs to be at this level when this one's that. This actuator needs to open. This one needs to close. All of that. So,
well, that's what I think is cool about the overall Emerson package. Even today, meeting with engineers. And they're asking questions like, can the actuator do this? Can it do this? Yeah. Well, I mean, the answer is no and yes. You can be used to do that, right? Because you have to have the device that measures something, right? Whatever you want to control. Yeah. Then you have to have that speak to the program logic controller, the PLC. Yeah. Right. Then that give a command to the actuator to respond based on the feedback of whatever is measuring.
Yeah.
And to have all those products in that portfolio, just, you're providing a package. That's really...
So that was that one lady, I can't remember what her name was, in the lunch and learn today. She asked, if I put your actuator on top of a valve, can it control the flow? Yes, it can. But just sitting there, it's going to be dumb. It's not going to, it needs to be, it's like the husband, it needs to be told.
Oh, so now we're going with that.
It needs to be told what to do, right? So it can either be told through the PLC, or like if you've got a flow meter or a pressure meter or a level, if that can generate 4 to 20, it can tell the actuator what to do, or if you've got PID control. Or it can send the signal back to the PLC and say, I need to open or close more. Then the PLC can send it to the actuator. But sitting there controlling flow, it can't do it unless something that's controlling flow tells it to do something.
Right. Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're all clever, and they got all the circuit boards and the circuitry and all the data, and you can interrogate them through Bluetooth. But sitting there, it still doesn't know what the hell it's doing unless it's told to do something. So it's dumb in that way.
Well, and I mean, that's what's really actually kind of cool about, even with water. I mean, water's dumb. Just going to go where it goes. Electricity's dumb, right? So it's just going to follow the path of least resistance, right? So you have, you have head loss is like ohms in electricity, right? Voltage, voltage is pressure, amps is flow rate. So it's all the same thing.
All the same thing.
Except they don't mix well together.
No.
Any cool stories on that?
Not really. Not.
You've never been electric. You've worked on actuators. You've never been electrocuted.
I've been electrocuted.
Yeah, pretty good.
But
Zinged.
Not working on actuators, doing shit at home. Yeah, I've been putting Christmas lights up, and I stepped off the ladder and I stepped back, and for some reason there was a hot wire, and I stood on it, and it shocked me in my foot. And it came out my shoulder. That was not pleasant.
I had that happen with it was an electrical knife. During Thanksgiving, I didn't realize it had been old and sort of frayed. Yeah. And so I was doing the dishes and everything, and it was still plugged in. And I was doing the dishes, it was plugged in. I went to go unplug it, but I grabbed the cord, and my hands, man. Same thing. Felt like I was doing that, like the electrical thing where you do your abs.
Yeah.
You just sit there and work.
USA is okay because it's 120 volt single phase, but in South Africa you got 220 volt single phase.
Yeah, South Africans are weird.
I know.
Yeah, it's so weird. Aren't you? So technically, you're an African American.
That's what they say.
Right. And then
I've been.
Do you have citizenship yet? Or you?
No. So we did all the work visas, and then I think I still need to check this. We got our green cards in 2023, so we've got another 2 years to go because you can apply for citizenship once you've had your green card for 4 years and 6 months.
Okay. No.
So every now and again I can go onto the website and it'll say you're not eligible. So as soon as we're eligible, then we can apply for citizenship. But I have been introduced to a lot of people as their African American friend. And then they can't figure it out for obvious reasons, but then they say, well, he's African and he's living in America.
South African.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, Elon Musk, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and then you guys had that runner that killed his wife, right, with the one leg?
Oh, no, what's his name? Blade Runner.
The Blade Runner,
Oscar Pistorius.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I think it was his girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah. Either way, it's bad.
And I think you got to say alleged because he still claims he didn't.
Yeah, right.
The courts have not really convinced he did, but he's in jail. So
is it like an OJ alleged? For us?
Yeah, it was. And that's actually quite funny because while that was going on, I think it was the first court case in South Africa to actually be televised.
Okay.
Where you could actually, it was like Big Brother. You could actually get on in the morning and watch the court case.
Oh man, I'm growing up as like OJ, same thing.
I had a job to do. I couldn't sit and watch that. But anyway, so they, that was South Africa's OJ. Mm-hmm. That was. I think it went on for 2-3 years or something.
Well, the guy was in the. I mean, he was in the Olympics. Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
Yeah, he was in the
incredible story.
The what do you call the Olympics for the disabled? He was in the paraplegic Olympics.
Okay.
And he.
I thought he had actually qualified. I don't know.
Well, he did. He won all gold and he cleaned up in that class. Uh-huh. And then he said that he was fast enough to compete against able bodies. And then I think he had a few races against able-bodied runners. And then I don't think he won anything, but he did pretty good, and his times were good. But then the people started saying, do the blades give him an unfair advantage?
Like bounce.
And then he spent a whole lot of money, lawyers, and in wind tunnels and testing things and all the tests came back and proved that they didn't give him an advantage.
I mean, I can't see how it would.
And then the shit hit the fan and he went to jail, so we would have never have known, right? So
it's crazy how
now your life can turn in a split second.
One bad decision away. That's what I tell my kids. It's like one bad decision away sometimes. You never know. And that, I mean, I've always told my kids, you can control what you do. You can do anything you want, but you have zero control over the consequences of that decision.
Exactly. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can do anything you want on your last day of work.
But do you want to?
Right. Probably not. Yeah, I listen to my wife and my boss, so he might say I don't listen enough too. So, but he's a good man. We had Brent. Yeah, Brent was on here. Brent came on the podcast.
I would imagine I haven't spent too much time with Brett, but I'd imagine he's an interesting.
He's an amazing man. Yeah,
got a couple of stories to tell.
No, quite a few. Yeah, we actually talked mostly about family and life. Matter of fact, he came up. We were talking about. Him and I both, we were talking about persistence and, just moving forward. Mm-hmm. And then we were talking about how ironic it is. And then Brent had brought up that in life, it's like with water. It doesn't matter what's in front of it, right? Water's going to work its way around it and it's going to find its way through. So if it doesn't matter if it's a big boulder, you get enough time, water's going to keep going. Water's going to keep going. It's going to work its way around. It just keeps going.
Well, my wife... Her dad is Scottish and her mom is Irish.
Yeah, Scottish. That's a woman after my own heart.
And,
Scottish.
Her mom, she's passed on now, but she always had a saying. So whatever happened, if something happened or whatever, her mom would always, in her finest Irish accent, would always say, "What's for you is not going to go past you." Huh? So it's the same thing as like water. If that's what the direction you're going down, that's what's going to happen. So.
Well, something made the Grand Canyon.
Right.
Water. That's an awesome power.
Well, how deep do you want to go into conspiracy theories? Maybe it wasn't water.
We can talk about that.
Maybe it was something else.
That deep?
I don't know.
Are we doing the whole
And I'm only one beer in.
Are we talking about the History Channel? I'm not saying aliens, but maybe aliens.
Yeah. Pyramids. We can go on forever.
I love talking about that kind of stuff.
It sure looks like water.
Yeah,
if you look at some of the lakes, especially in Texas now, like Lake Travis is very dry. I think it's like 30% full. And you have a look at the ridges, how it goes down. It sure does look like the Grand Canyon.
Sure. Look, Lake Mead, yeah. And, you could also have, then there's, where did that come from when you have like lake beds? And then some of that in general came from, originally from lava flows, right?
What's interesting is that some of the stuff they say is made from lava flows, but there's not a volcano for miles and miles.
They're all over the place, man. Where one of the biggest volcanoes in the world is?
No, I don't know. Isn't it? I don't know.
It's about 6 hours north of here.
Hawaii?
No, 6 hours north of here in Denver. Well, maybe 8. Okay, Yellowstone. Yellowstone is an extinct super volcano. Yeah,
I've never thought of it as a volcano.
Well, look at the...
And Hawaii is west.
Yeah.
Just to clear that up.
You have... look at Old Faithful, the geysers, right? So anytime you have thermal and, everything going on underground there. Have you ever been to Yellowstone?
No, it's on my to-do list.
Oh, come on, man. You got to take one of those trips, and we'll go up to Wyoming.
Sounds good.
Actually, there's once a year.
I still want to get. Sorry to interrupt. I still want to get to Alaska. I still want to get to Montana. I still want to get to Yellowstone. There's still so much to do. But
we covered 2 of those.
Well, there must be some actuation potentials out there.
There is, absolutely.
Don't make me big.
There's a class that I usually do once a year in October in Yellowstone.
Okay.
So it's north. It's actually technically it's still in I think it's still in Montana. So you got to go from Bozeman. You go from Bozeman you go east and then you go down a little bit. And beautiful. Last time I went though, it almost got snowed in. So and that was early October. But yeah, we can get you up there, and you got Travers up there. Mm-hmm. Travers got to get those plant walks going. We get you up into Montana. It's beautiful country.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a place called Big Sky. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah. I think Tom Brady used to take the Patriots there, the linemen. Mm-hmm. After they won the Super Bowl, he would take them and go for, a weekend or a week or something like that after the Super Bowl.
So what did you only take them there 8 times or 7 times?
I'm a Manning fan, I'm a Peyton Manning fan. I respect Brady as the GOAT, but...
I've got into football, but I'm not...
Wait,
I'm not,
football or foot? Foot?
The chuck.
Okay, the chucking the ball one. Yeah.
So I can watch a game. I know what's going on, but there's a lot of stuff going on off the field that I don't feel. I just see the yellow flag. I'm okay. That's it. But my knowledge is limited to. I moved to Texas in 2016, so I don't have all the background of all the histories, all the players, all the coaches, colleges, where they came from. I just know Texans because I live in Houston. When they play, I watch them, and if they're losing and they don't get anywhere, then I don't watch. So I'm not a big football fan, so I'm not even willing to go down there and rabbit hole on this discussion because I don't know.
How about soccer or foot?
Soccer, I know. Yeah. That's what we played in South Africa. We followed British football. But then again, also only up to a certain point because by the time it was like school, I played it for the military. I played at school. And then I'd say about 10 or 12 years ago, I stopped following. So my favourite team is Liverpool. Okay. And the country I support is Germany because my dad's side has got some German.
German, Scott. You really are, you really do belong here.
With the United Nations down there.
Yeah, it is kind of, it's like here. So you're planning on getting citizenship here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just makes sense.
Well, I'm glad you like it enough. Yeah. We need more good people like you here.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's plenty out there.
It's dwindling. We could on that one, but we probably should. Those who've already listened to a couple episodes know where I stand, I'm pretty sure. So, but no, that's exciting. So you came here to work for Road to Work.
Correct.
Yep. And then Emerson. Mm-hmm. And you've been at Emerson how long now?
May 2023, so 2 years or so.
2 years, okay. Oh, and how do you know John Bolander, by the way? I got to get John on here. Yeah. He'd love to come on.
He'd love to.
He's a character, man. He's a good man.
I know John through being in the municipal industry with Road Talk because he was obviously one of the valve OEMs in Houston.
And so for those that don't know, John Bolander's the president of JNS Valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a
very interesting man.
Yeah, he is.
A lot of the people would say to me, be careful and watch out for John, and he's difficult to work with, and you'll never be able to get along with him and stuff. And I walked in there, and he couldn't understand a word. I might as well have been speaking Russian to him. He's like, what did he say? What did he say? And he's like, huh? And he's like talking to all the people around him. And eventually he got to understand me, but for some reason, and there are people out there in the industry that cannot figure it out for the life of them, but for some reason, him and I just clicked, and we had a great relationship for 4 or 5 years.
That's what I love best about this industry.
I just don't understand. I think because I didn't take his bullshit to put.
And he's got enough to go around.
That's the only thing I could put. Like he'd phone me and he'd say to me, whatever, and this and this and this, and I'll just like tell him like it is. It is what it is, John. Okay, I guess. All right, well, come see me on Friday. We'll go for lunch. And I just think that's what I think he related to that.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for him. Recently, we had an issue here locally in the Denver area with a bunch of butterfly valves, and so 13 years that I've been doing this, and we've had a butterfly valve manufacturer, for as long as I've been here. In those 13 years, the only time I ever had an issue with a butterfly valve not passing a test for a system pressure test was, had to go make a valve adjustment, a stop adjustment 2 times in 13 years. Anything else, I can't tell you how many hundreds or I don't know how many maybe 1,000 butterfly valves.
Yeah.
And so we get a phone call with having issues with the butterfly valves. And I said, which one? And it was all of them. And my initial response is, bullshit. No way. And I mean, 13 years. This is one of the things that I'm hoping that in the podcast we talk about. Do manufacturers' defects exist? Yeah. But I would say if we're putting it on a percent of the issues that are out there, I'm going to put that at 2 or less than 2%.
No, I mean,
because most of it's either going to be installation error, storage of job site materials, improper application, not understanding system dynamics. Those are where your fail points are.
Well, the thing is, I always talk about this because I come from the service side and obviously the sales side, is that every manufacturer is going to have some issue. Either going to have quality issues or something forgets to get put in, or that's fine. But the problem is you don't judge a company or an OEM if you've got 50 of their products in for 20 years and nothing goes wrong.
Right.
You judge them if you've got 50 of their products in for 6 months and something goes wrong and you pick up the phone and you call for help.
Yeah.
That's where you judge, because it's your response time and your customer service that's going to get you through, because we all know shit happens, right?
So, well, I mean, one thing that I learned in this industry that, even Brendan talked about when I first started was that's an opportunity. Mm-hmm. That's an opportunity because a lot of times you'll see people run from issues, right? Like they'll get a phone call and they'll be like, all right, I'll call you back next week. And then someone will chase them down. Hey, I haven't heard back from you. And,
I'll be honest with you, that like 99.9% of all the retrofits that I've done, so whether it was working for Roadtalk and changing other people's products or working for Emerson, changing Roadtalk or other people's products, when I get called to site or I've got to go there and they say, hey, I've got XYZ's manufacturers, I want to take that off and I want to put an Emerson on. It's not because that XYZ's product is broken. It's because they can't get anybody to come and fix it or service it or repair it.
Absolutely.
They're not changing because it's broken. It's like, this thing's broken, I've been trying for 6 weeks to get hold of somebody. If somebody had gone there in the first 2-3 days, they would not take that product off. Mm-hmm. So you go there, you take it off, and you put it on, and if something happens to your product, just make sure that you rock up, because then it won't be replaced.
Yeah.
So that's just been my that's my perspective.
I mean, that's especially when you're dealing with products like flow control valves. When you're not talking about commodity type stuff, pipe, isolation valves, like just when you're talking about actuators, hydraulic operated control valves, leak detection, pressure monitoring, things like that. Anything technical. It's about the service. Mm-hmm. That's 90% of it. I mean, there's a reason that, and I know you're reluctant to bring. I bring up manufacturers all the time. I never really bash any. Although I do feel like there are such things as bad manufacturers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, don't get me wrong. But I've been to plants before where I've seen my stuff's been replaced. I'm like, hey, why did you replace it? Because we couldn't get hold of anybody.
Most of the time, that's what it is.
I mean, it happens all over the way, and that it also just depends on the last salesman that was there that left his card behind. That's the number that's going to get called. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not unique to my competitors. I've had it done to me.
Yeah. Well, but it's really about solving problems. If you're going to be there to solve a problem, they know they can pick up the phone and call you, and you're going to answer. Then you already have a leg up, and that's how. I mean, clay valve in Colorado. I mean, there's a guy named John Tedder that, for anyone that's in Colorado, Wyoming, maybe Montana, and probably New Mexico. I don't know if he was in New Mexico then, but if he went down that far. But the guy had been doing it for 30, almost 40 years, maybe, I think. I mean, the guy was a legend. I mean, they used to call it a Tedder valve. And that was because they could pick up the phone and he would answer. And he could walk somebody through a troubleshoot, and they knew that he was going to be there. Mm-hmm. They weren't going to have to sit on the phone and talk to somebody, because I've been there even as a rep when you're troubleshooting and you're talking to somebody across the country that doesn't even, that is new and can't answer can't walk you through it.
Yeah, that's where Emerson relies a lot on the impact partners and the distributors like you guys, especially with you guys got your own service division, is that as an OEM, we can't service all the products that you sell or we sell.
No way.
It's just impossible. You've got to get a whole service department. It's got to be a whole division on its own, which we don't have time to do because we're busy manufacturing actuators. But that's where it's key, and that's, I think, where Emerson's success is, because if you go to a plant or whatever and you say, oh, your backup, your sales, your support, whether it's whatever impact partner or distributors in that region, that customer will always say, I'll pick up the phone, I call them, they come down here. Because another thing, going back to the beginning of the conversation, is that Emerson's got so many products. There's every single plant has always got a Emerson impact partner on site, whether it's for Fisher, whether it's for Schaefer, whether it's for the pneumatics, electrics. There's always somebody from Emerson on a plant, for Rosemount, whatever, that they can say, sure, the guy from Rosemount can't help, but hey, you from Emerson, can you help me with this actuator? No, I'm with Rosemount, but I can get Kevin to give you a call. You know, we've got a presence, and that's what helps a lot through impact partners and guys like you. You know.
Well, and I think that's why we like to, work with the impact partners. We do. I mean, we work with Applied. They're a great company.
No, not to mention the amount of dollar inventory that everybody keeps that you can buy from each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but they're a great resource, and Andrew Orchard, he's a great guy. We actually did a little bit of work with him before the paths crossed.
And Dave Atkins is also a good guy. He was electrics trainer at Emerson for a long time. Okay.
Jason Hudson, I don't know if you know him. Yeah. He used to work with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back when this was back when we were really heavily waterworks, and then we had acquired the full Watts line, and then a couple of their employees had come over from the previous Watts rep, and Jason was one of them. So he had been he was working for the Watts rep that had the full Watts line prior to us, and then I ran into him when we went and toured Applied. I ran into him there. I'm like, oh, it's Jason. So he's a funny guy, man.
Yeah.
So I didn't know you want to be a stand-up comic.
You didn't?
No.
Well, obviously.
Who's your favorite stand-up comic?
At this point, what's his name? I don't believe it. Matt Rife.
Oh, Matt Wright.
Matt Rife.
Right. Yeah, my wife is hilarious. Yeah.
I can tell you now, Dave Chappelle always.
Oh, Dave Chappelle is genius. Yeah. Dave Chappelle. Man, have you seen?
Kevin Hart's also good.
Kevin Hart's good. Yep.
I've got Sirius, the channel in my car, and he's got his own channel. It's Kevin Hart Laugh Out Loud.
Oh, is he the Laugh Out Loud?
Yeah, he's got his own channel on Sirius XM, and he's always got comedians on there. But I mean, Chris Hart's good. Kevin Hart, not Chris. What's his name? Chris, you know what I'm talking about, man. He's got a squeaky voice. Oh, there's Kevin Hart. Anyway, they're all good. But
I mean, have you listened to Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
Man, Eddie Murphy. And I'll tell you what, too. Like, even going back, I know it's so politically incorrect, but who gives a shit? Bill Cosby back in. Everyone. They should. But. Have you ever? I don't know if you ever seen this skit. It's called Bill Cosby Himself.
I've never listened to Bill Cosby stand up.
Oh my!
I've never.
Gosh.
But I watched his TV show, The Cosby Show, and he was funny as an actor. But I've never heard him stand up.
Oh my goodness, his stand up is great.
Okay.
I mean, he'd do. He had bits about going to the dentist. He had a bit about.
You know what I had?
The Weekend.
When I was younger.
Yeah.
I was like 10, 12 years old. I remember the dentist one.
Yeah. Yes, I've been there myself. Yeah, he had some good ones. Yeah. I mean, Bill Cosby was, and he talked about, my favorite, he talks about the, when his son was born. Mm-hmm. And fatherhood, right? He talks about natural childbirth. His wife wanted to do natural childbirth. So no drugs are administered. So he says, no drugs are administered during the process. The father can have all he wants. And then he says that his son's born, and they pull out. He's like, "This is what We've been going to all these classes for 9 months. This is what we've been waiting for. This is it. Our son. And the doctor's holding him up. And then they clean him off. And I'm looking. And it isn't getting any better. And I tell the doctor, can't you put it in there, man? Like, maybe 1-2 more months. It needs to cook some more. And he said he went to his wife. And I went to my wife and I kissed her ever so gently on the lips. And I said, you've just had a lizard. Because the thing changed colors like 6 times, man. There's some goodness there. Yeah.
And also there's another guy, I don't know if it's
Richard Pryor.
I don't know if it's Kevin or if it's Mark or Andrew, but his last name Schultz. He's also pretty good.
Oh, and then you had some of the, look at what's like Kill Tony and some of the new stuff that's out. Comedy actually freaking was during COVID. That was kind of like my release was listening to comedy. We saw
comedy for whatever reason. Comedy sort of came and went, but now it's coming back again because people realize that being funny doesn't necessarily make you mean, but you've got to be mean to be funny, if that makes sense.
You got to be mean to be funny.
But being funny doesn't make you mean.
Okay, I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you got to talk about. You've got to make jokes about people's worst things or stupid things that are offensive to people. But because you're talking about it and telling jokes about it, it doesn't mean that you mean. But you can't be kind and nice to people and be funny. Does it make sense?
It does make sense. I also think that sometimes some of the best comedy is I find humor in my own life with my kids. It's like I always tell my kids. You have any kids, by the way?
Mm-hmm. I've got 2.
How old?
My one daughter's 30. She's from a previous marriage and she lives in New Zealand.
Okay.
So New Zealand, Scottish, Irish.
Man, you're all over the...
She lives in New Zealand and I've got 3 grandkids with her.
Okay.
Not with her. She's given me 3 grandkids.
You're getting yourself in all kinds of trouble here, man.
And then I've got my other daughter, Amy. She's 18, who is from my current marriage to Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got 18-year-old, so I got an 18-year-old son.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and he's my 18-year-old son's the oldest, but man, we have 4 boys. My wife and I have been married for 24 years. We have 4 boys, and I cannot wait until they have their own place. Because all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna tear shit up, man. I'm gonna jump in there. I'm gonna find every freaking remote, every remote control in that house, and I'm gonna pull the back off of them. The little back where the batteries go. I'm gonna pull every backing off of every remote.
Stick it down the side.
No, screw that, man. I'm throwing the trash. They'd be gone.
I actually said that to my wife the other day. I said to her, I can't wait for Amy to get her own place because I'm gonna go there. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to take a cereal box out and put it down. I'm going to put a cup there. I'm going to open up a bottle of water, take 2 sips and leave it open. I'm going to go into a cupboard and I'm going to take clothes out and I'm going to chuck them on the floor. And I'm going to sit down, I'm going to have coffee, I'm going to leave it on the floor and spill some. I'm going to say, bye, Mom and I are going home.
What? Was it me?
Yeah.
That's my favorite one too, is like you have 4 boys. My wife and I are upstairs. We haven't even come downstairs. Something spilled. I know I didn't do it. I know my wife didn't do it.
Blame the youngest.
I'm asking my children, and every single one of them denies it. Explain that one.
Hey.
Yeah, and so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to trapeze on all their furniture. They've broken everything. Like we can't have nice things. I tell my kids all the time, when are we going to get a new couch? No. When you guys are gone.
Yeah.
Like we're going to let you guys basically destroy this house. The second the last one leaves, we're going to go get into the nice house that we want to be in. And nobody's coming over.
No, but I must admit, my daughter's pretty good. She tidies up generally. She's very good. But I find her friends leave a lot of stuff lying around. Because she's like, hey, put that in the trash. Hey, do this, do that. Hey, my dad's going to shout at you. My dad's going to do this. But when there's 4 or 5 of them and they will leave, it looks like a bomb's hit it. And all the cold drink things, the sodas that are half, the waters that are half, the food that was made and half left, and we want to bake a cake. And like, at 9 o'clock at night, and they bake a cake.
And nothing's put back.
They all go home the next morning and nobody ate the cake. I was like, why did you bake the cake? But that's just kids, is what it is.
I know. It's still fun, though.
That's why we love them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that, yeah. But they teach us lessons. A lot of people that don't have kids, and they're like, I'm too selfish. And I'm like, that's exactly why you should have a kid, because that's what I've
I can
learned.
tell you, if it wasn't for my daughter, I would never be able to set up my new iPhones when I get them.
I know. It's amazing how my youngest is 8, and the kid just through all the, through the tablet. It's crazy.
Crazy times we're living in.
Yeah, well, I mean, but, the other part of that, though, is what I don't understand. My son, who had just graduated, I don't understand the pushback from, I think there's a lot of things that can be done that will help out, that younger generation, that Gen Z, right? I think that's, that Gen Z, that, they may be the guys that are inventing products and solutions to solve the problems in the industry. They could be the people doing that, but we're still stuck in this way of learning where it's, even look at like AI and how much they're fighting that. I use AI, but I don't. Do you use ChatGPT at all for work?
I'll tell you what, my neighbor introduced me to ChatGPT about 6 months ago. I haven't used Google since.
Right? Yeah. And have you used it at all for anything to do with work?
Yes.
Yeah. but there's nothing wrong with because it changed a lot for me because you still have to understand the concepts. You have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything for you. Like, you can't just be like, hey, write me a business plan that's going to make me a millionaire.
Yeah. You still got to have some common sense.
And you have to understand about the products, and you have to have this knowledge. But I feel like we're doing a disservice by trying to push these kids in to go to school to get some general degree that they may or may not use, and they're going to get themselves $200,000 in debt. We have family friends that have gotten themselves, they're taking out second mortgages to pay for their kids going to school. Like, I ain't doing that. Like that, and that's something my son's really wanting to look at in this industry and getting into trade and doing some of. Getting into things that aren't necessarily, you don't have to go to college. You don't have to have a 4-year degree. Yeah. And AI, if they would, maybe they should start teaching them how to use it effectively. Yeah. Right, as a tool. It was funny because, I don't know if the worst thing for me was when my son, my oldest, when he was like in, I think 6th grade, and he comes to me with algebra, And I don't remember the last time I did it, right? He's like, you got to find X, right? And I'm like, there, circle it, X is found.
I'm dead in the water.
Yeah, but so I went, I Googled it. This is before AI. I Googled it, okay, that's how. So the funny thing is my son was in, I think, pre-calc and pre-calculus. And I was like, why aren't you guys using, ChatGPT? They're arguing over how to solve it, which that's fine, but it's like, so I told him that, that's cheating. I'm like, it's not to say, here's the problem. So what I did is I showed him, I took a picture of it, okay? Then I put it in a ChatGPT and I said, walk me through solving this. And then step 1, step 2, step 3. So then I'm like, that's what they should be teaching to use it as a tool.
Yeah, not just what is X. X is 7. Okay, 7. And then going outside. Going, like, I need to figure out 6. How do I do this, this, and then do, okay. So that's what it is. That could work, but humans are lazy. Why would you do that?
I do it all the time. I mean, I just did it today when we were looking at the types of actuators used in data centers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I went through AI. Can you find what's the most common type in this application in data centers, right? And then it gave the types of where valves will be found, right? And then it was asking, okay, so like highlighting chilled water, highlighting this.
But what type of actuator? I've also heard that ChatGPT will give you an answer for everything, but also if it can't find it or it doesn't know, it also gives you an answer that's made up.
You can usually spot it, I think. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Because they put links on there, and if the links are vague, the references are vague.
Yeah.
but sometimes it'll find
Yeah.
something on like Scribe or something where there's I don't know there's an actual specification. So again, I just think the more tools, like, it's a tool in the belt.
Mm-hmm.
It's information. It's access to information. When I started doing this, we didn't get trained by people internally here at Rep Masters. When I started, there were 6 people here, and they were all busy. I mean, I learned by looking at all the brochures, the product, the books, the binders, the old school binders.
The Emerson YouTube videos.
in Google.
Yeah.
So I'd answer the phone, right? And then I had 2 screens up, and I would Google exactly what they said, right? And then I would say, oh, hang on. Hey, I got this going on. Let me give you a call right back. I'll get an answer for you, and I'll call you back in the next hour. Mm-hmm. That's how I learned.
Yeah, that's the best way.
And but we do live in a great time. We have more access to information. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to solve problems with that much access. Mm-hmm. So, and as far as for you, so you've been at Emerson for 2 years, Rotork for
No, Rotork 20.
Rotork for 20, and Emerson
12, well, actually 18. 12 years in South Africa and 6 years in Houston.
What do you love most about what you do?
The different places that I visit and the people.
Yeah.
So I'm never in the same. I mean, when I go into Crossridge, that's the same office, but I'm hardly ever there. But this week I'm in Colorado. Last week I was in Corpus. The week before that I was in El Paso. And
where are you going next week?
I'm in Houston for a week because we got Impact
Partner.
Oh,
yeah, that's Impact Partner. And then after that?
Nothing planned yet, but...
I think you need to go to Hawaii. A lot of business out there.
Well, we've got a certain person in this building, Mr. Don Lindbergh, whose territory is Hawaii, and he takes after an Impact, but...
Who covers Hawaii out there? Who's the Impact Partner?
I don't want to lie to you. I'll have to check, but...
You don't know because you don't go out there because Don takes that one, right?
He doesn't go out either.
He doesn't go out either?
No.
Man.
Because it's weird. It's like,
I know. Applied goes all the way to Alaska.
There's an application and an opportunity in Hawaii. Can we go there for a site visit? Can't you do it via Teams?
They don't, yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Oh, but every now and then you got to reward people. Come on.
I mean, if it really comes down to it, Emerson won't have a problem at all.
Yeah.
Sending it to Hawaii, but normally it's like there's one application. It's going to be an $8,500 actuator, and everybody wants to go to Hawaii to look at it. Yeah. It's like, no, guys.
Yeah. Well, it's time. It's also time, right, to get this full day to get down there.
Yeah,
right?
and it's not flights, hotels. It's not cheap. So if the opportunity arises, we'll definitely go. But the stories we spend management to go there for one actuator, that's not going to get us down there.
Right. Yeah. It's funny though. There's always something that comes up with a manufacturer like, who has Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone thinks, oh, you get to go often. But there, it's an interesting market there. Is my understanding. I'd imagine they deal with a bunch of corrosion. I'd love to have somebody from Hawaii on the podcast.
I know,
to talk
right?
about.
And then I was dealing with the people the other day in Trinidad, and it looked like Trinidad, Tobago, Keys, Caribbean. Looked like I'd have to go there. But after 2 Teams calls, we actually got it sorted out and done. So I'm like, should have made it more difficult, but. Not going to Trinidad.
See, I thought you were going to joke and be like, so I was like, Trinidad, I'm going to go there. It's like Trinidad, Colorado. There's a Trinidad, Colorado.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's like right on the border of New Mexico and Colorado.
Okay, now I'm talking about Trinidad, Caribbean, Trinidad.
Yeah. For a while, it used to be the sex change capital of the world. It's a true story. You can look that up.
Colorado, Trinidad.
Trinidad, Colorado, yeah.
Okay.
And they were, what's weird is I can't remember what it was. But there was a business that was going to go in there, and they were going to ramp up infrastructure and everything. And then I'm trying to remember. I'd be remiss if I couldn't even tell you. But for some reason that fell apart, and then it's kind of been a rough, tough place where they haven't had growth. And I know their water system there, they deal with a lot of challenges. So with
something
budget,
must have changed.
With budget. Boom. There you go. There's the stand-up comic. So typically what we do is I like to get the craziest story, even if it maybe was somebody that we had for a while. I wanted to do like segments where it was like tales from the trenches because I've had so many different videos and things I've seen on LinkedIn, YouTube, where you have backhoe digging and then hits a water main, and explodes. So I don't know if you got any tales from the trenches or anything that.
I've got a funny story that happened. It's not like a explosive story, but it was really amusing just to show you how little some people do know about actuation. So it was sub-Saharan Africa, so it was a little bit third world or whatever. So they bought 20 actuators from me, but the actuators obviously have got that 9-volt battery in the back that leaves the screen illuminated for feedback and all of that good stuff. So they bought 20 actuators, and they put them on top of the valves, and for months and months and months they couldn't get them to work. And we didn't have Teams and all of that in those days. It was all over the phone, doing this, doing that. Can you see this? Can you that? Eventually, I went up there. And
and who's it? The person? Is this a municipality or is this?
Yeah, it was an irrigation district.
Oh, okay.
So they had them on gates. So I went up there and I walked up to site.
I think I know where this is going.
And none of the actuators had electrical power to them.
Well, they didn't need it. They had a battery, a 9-volt.
Said they walk up and they say open, close. It doesn't work. I was like, where's the power? Well, they thought the battery would have enough power to open up this big 30 by 30 gate. I'm like, no, you guys need power. Well, we didn't have it in the budget and we can't run power out here and there's no 3-phase. It's in the middle of nowhere, this and the other. So for years and years and years and years, must have been 5 or 6 years afterwards, I would always check in with them and see if everything's going okay. They never ever had power. So those actuators were on there. They would use the clutch and the hand wheel to turn them and open them. And
so they bought the most expensive manual gear ever.
Most expensive manual gears with a digital display ever.
What size gate was that on?
Some of them are 30 by 30s. Some of them are 30 by. It was like.
Well, they bought like $15,000 manual gears.
Yeah, it was like $130,000 order, and they just used them as gearboxes.
Oh, God bless. Is that what do they say in Texas for that one? Like, bless your heart.
God bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. I would have joked and been like, "Oh, I know the problem. You didn't buy Fisher Price gates."
Yeah.
Oh, so man, that's a good one.
That was years and years and years and years ago. I'd actually like to check in with them, but as I said, that was when I was still back in South Africa. It wasn't.
Oh, so it was in South Africa.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. It's kind of like I remember talking one time to there was an engineer, and we were talking about hydrants, and he was saying that, yeah, but the hydrants are just attached to the fire line. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what do you mean? It's a buried, the fire line, the buried fire line in the system. Didn't understand that fire hydrants are attached to the potable water system.
Yeah.
You think there's just two parallel pipes just running around, right? And the hydrants come off the fire line and they just exist. It just sits there static.
Well, I always say you don't know what you don't know until you know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And and to be fair too, it's like, engineers have a really tough job because everyone expects them to be an expert on thousands of topics, and you can't.
Yeah.
And that's what I try and tell them is we're just here for a resource. Like, there's no way that you could ever learn all that because I know how much time I've spent learning about this, and this is just one small section in the industry. So,
well, that's the whole idea of lunch and learns, right? You don't go into an EPC or an engineering company to do a lunch and learn to teach 6 or 7 or 10 or 12 engineers to be experts on whatever you're talking about, actuation, valves, pumps, whatever.
Sure.
All you want to do is you want to plant the seed so that on that specific project or the next project, you can be a trusted advisor to help them and get it done and then move on. And then on the next project, they're going to need help again. You just want to
be a resource.
You just want to be that resource. And that's the message you try to get across in your visits. Me personally, I don't know. Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. That's all, I didn't think, and I probably said this on every single podcast, and it is true. If If you would have asked me 13 years before, 14 years ago where water came from, I would have told you the faucet. Had no idea. And all I want to do is just solve problems and, try and be a resource and a guide. And if I don't know, I'm not going to tell you I do. I'll point you in the right direction. And I can never sell, thousands of one product and, and retire on that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense to recommend the wrong product for the application. It's always, let's figure out what the challenges are. Let's find a product that meets the challenge and provides a solution. That's all it is. That's all sales is. Well, and people, which is the best part.
And you meet different people every day.
Yeah. That's what I love best about the industry. That's, that's what, if you ever go back and listen to the intro, I think there's like an intro audio of the podcast, and that I think just even in having started with the first few episodes before they were released, because we wanted to have, obviously we had to record them and get them edited. I quickly learned that what I thought the podcast was going to be was about products, and like I knew I was going to have fun just talking, but really it's about the people in the industry, and then I thought, the reason why we, Utility Room Legends was because there's people who are legendary, and Don's one of them. I mean, that guy, right? I mean, Don's one of them. I'd love to get him on here. See if he gets all, sometimes he says he's a grumpy man now, so. But that guy's got a wealth of knowledge, man, and that's legendary. That deserves to be passed down. That's legacy, which we were talking about at dinner. Yeah. So, but man, I appreciate having you on.
Great.
It was funny because you had come around when we were doing this, right?
I know. I still tested the room out. It was just being built. It didn't even have nothing.
What do you think? It looks a lot better.
I think you just bought that.
Yeah, we just got because that was when you tested out the mic. But no, I'm glad we had you on.
No, I'm glad you took me up on my offer.
Appreciate you guys coming out this week. And
anytime.
Yeah, love working with you guys and love what you guys are doing.
Appreciate your support.
Yeah. All right, man.
Good
Take
deal.
care.
Thanks, man. Ciao.